Shalom, Kol Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Much peace and blessings to all you sincere Akim out there that are pushing this 100% truth with all sincerity, faith, and with charity. This is your brother Osh from the Great Millstone, Miami Camp, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying unto the elect. This is just going to be a quick lesson on, which the scriptures speak on this. So I can't really say that this is my advice, but I am advising with scriptures, all you brothers out there, especially that's doing this work, to talk what you know. Talk what you know. Okay? Don't be a Dunning-Kreuger. And I want to start by reading up on this, thing. I can't really, say the name. I guess right here it says the cognitive bias, right? This is a term known as a Dunning-Kreuger effect, which many people in the world, damn near everybody, will exhibit this. They are Dunning-Krugers, meaning they exhibit the Dunning-Kreuger effect on a daily. And after I read it and break it down, you'll agree. Okay? But those of us that are in this knowledge, that are in this truth, we can't be like that. Okay? This is the AI overview, which, I said it before, I say it again. I really like these AI overviews. But there's some things which they got an answer for everything on this damn AI overview. But there are certain things that if you look up, they won't give you, which is funny, right? But that's for another lesson. But here we are. This is the Dunning-Kreuger effect. Describes a cognitive bias. Okay, so this, a bias is basically a predetermined belief, a predetermined thought that you have towards someone or something, okay, without really thinking about it. Like if you have a job recruiter and they may already have a certain type of person in mind that they want to hire, so they're gonna have their own biases set up when determining and filtering out different potential recruits. Okay, it says a cognitive bias where individuals with low competence in a specific area, meaning they don't have much experience in that area. They haven't lived it. Okay, so they may know certain things about said topic, but in reality, if you were to put them in that experience, they would most likely fail. Okay, unless they got lucky, so-called, quote unquote, which we know there's no such thing as luck, but the scriptures speak about chance and circumstance happening to them all. So you may see somebody come up in a certain area and it may seem like they know what they're talking about, but it's just coincidental, right? So individuals with low competence in a specific area overestimate their abilities, while highly competent individuals tend to underestimate their own abilities. Okay? It continues on to say this occurs because those with limited knowledge or skill are often unaware of the extent of their ignorance leading to inflated self-assessments. You see that? So, and one thing I like to say, and I've been saying it more and more because I actually see this in the real world. Stupid people don't know they're stupid. Stupid people believe they are smart. Okay? The dumbest people think they're the smartest people. And that's because they don't even have the mind capacity to realize what there is to know. Okay? They don't even realize that they're dumb. They don't have the ability to assess and compare their own intelligence with the intelligence of others because their mind is that low level. You see, so they overestimate their intelligence. And most chances, most of the time you have actual intelligent people with higher than average intelligence. They know that they're intelligent, and they know that there's other people in the world that are more intelligent to them than them, that they can learn from, that they can take things from. And they understand that they may be a little smart, but they acknowledge they don't know everything that there is to know. They have the ability to take themselves out of the equation and look at the bigger picture of things. But people with a low level of intelligence don't have that ability. They just, what's going on in their brain, that's all they can see. That's all they know. So they think they're actually smart. Okay? Which is pride. It's pride, but also arrogancy. Okay? Which there's a difference between pride and arrogancy. We understand, according to the scriptures, pride is when one departs from his maker and leans to their own understanding when it comes to judging certain situations, and they're puffed up. They have an overinflated ego. Okay? But you have people that have pride because of their accomplishments and achievements and accolades that they have in life. Okay? They may, like Michael Jordan, he got 6 NBA rings, right? So when it comes to, basketball, one may say he's proud because he believes he's the best ever. Well, many people would agree with him. So their pride is backed by real life, tangible achievements. While you may have someone who never went to the league, okay? They never had a championship ring. They never saw it in the NBA locker room, but they think that they can beat Michael Jordan in the basketball game. Go around saying I could best, Or you have a person that thinks that they have above average attractiveness and think that they can get any woman, but they have little to no experience with women at all. That's pride, but also arrogancy. Okay, meaning your pride is based upon nothing, which is a worse form of pride. That's why the scriptures say the Lord hates, one of the things the Lord hates, which we know he hates pride, but the scriptures highlight a poor man that is proud. A poor man, even though the scriptures say, why is earth and ashes proud? Pride was not made for man. Okay, but a rich man has more of a reason to be proud than a poor man. A poor man has literally no reason to be proud. Just like you got these women Okay, that's 5'5", 200 pounds. They don't invest in growing out their real hair or their real nails, but wear wigs and fake nails. They don't invest in truly taking care of their skin, but they'll cake on that fake up and look in the mirror and say, I'm a 10, and go around the world acting like that, turning down this so-called average men. That's pride, but that's also arrogancy. As opposed to a woman that really is a 10. You see? So that is the basis of arrogancy, which goes right into the Dunning-Kreuger effect. People with arrogancy often display the Dunning-Kreuger effect. And again, we can't be like that. Talking to myself first, we can't be like that. Now there's a quote, okay? Let me see if I can find this quote. I forgot to line it up, but this is a quote, I believe, from Einstein, one of these physicists. Okay, let's see if I can search it. Give me a second. Okay, they have this saying quoted from Aristotle that says, the more you know you don't know. Okay, which they have Socrates quoted with the same saying, but this is a saying that I realized was true back when I was in high school. I was studying different sciences and whatnot, wanting to be an engineer. Those different worldly dreams, right? And I came across this quote and I wrote it down. And I actually, thought about this quote often. Okay, what you have, the AI overview says, the saying expresses the idea that learning more about a subject often leads to a deeper understanding of how vast and complex the topic truly is, and thus a heightened awareness of what we still don't know. You see that? So that's a more of a breakdown and understanding behind the Dunning-Kreuger effect. So those of us that are in this truth, we are to have a higher intelligence and knowledge and understanding, a higher form of wisdom, the true wisdom, than the so-called intelligent of this world. Our perspective is changed, okay? We don't look at life with the same lens that people in the world do. We acknowledge the Lord in all things and in all our paths and in his creation. And when we know, according to the scripture says, that's in the book of Sirach, the scriptures say that we have seen but a few of his works. So that promotes a sense of humility. That promotes a sense of meekness. You see, boom, look at it goes down to say, it speaks about humility. I didn't even see that. Humility and knowledge. Let me get to the point. It says the realization that there's always more to learn can foster a sense of humility and openness to new ideas and perspectives. The statement emphasizes that learning is an ongoing process, not a destination. Right? You're not going to get to a point where you know everything. Because we're in the flesh, first of all, you can't know everything. But the less somebody knows, the less that they know that there's more to learn. Okay? So we have to be the complete opposite of the Dunning-Kreuger in this truth. Okay, lack of self-awareness, right? People with low competence often lack the necessary skills to recognize their own limitations, leading to faulty faulty self-assessment, what goes right into the scriptures. Okay? We're going to go right into the scriptures. All right? Which I'm going to just read this point. Also, what it says, consequences of the Dunning-Kreuger effect, which we do not want. Okay, especially in this truth. It says, overconfident individuals may make decisions that are not based on sound reasoning or expertise, right? Or experience. And what are they doing? Often are regurgitating knowledge that they have picked up from some other place. But they don't have the experience to actually cross-reference the knowledge that they're picking up. They're just being a mockingbird, which the scriptures, first, our apostles and elders tell us that we must not be. Apostle Tahar is still learning, and saying himself that he's still learning after 30 plus years in the truth. Okay, it says the belief that they already know enough can hinder their willingness to learn and seek feedback, meaning you can't grow anymore. Overestimation of abilities can prevent individuals from recognizing the need for development and improvement, which this can be deadly. That can be deadly in this thing of ours. Right? The Apostle Gabar often goes into the levels of understanding between the animals, and one, you have the monkey, which is base level, and then next after is the toad, which the toad represents stubbornness. Okay? Apostle Gabar likes to mention Elder Zabak, or High Priest Zabak, whatever his title is, Salakia, but he's a good example. The Apostle Gabar likes to go in how he's a good example of that toad, meaning certain things within this truth, but you stop because you think you got it all. Still teaching the same old wrong breakdowns that they got from the 7 at One West, because the Lord isn't truly dealing with him to bring him up on a higher level. The scriptures say, well, I have become wiser than all my teachers. All right, but right, it says with Salakia, this goes right into this, Sirach 32 and 21. It says what? Be not confident in a plain way. Okay? Be not confident in a plain way, meaning what? You're overconfident. You're overestimating the difficulty of something because of how it looks in the flesh, but you haven't been down that road. You see, in the CEBA says what? Don't trust an unexplored road. So you never went down this road, you never went down this street, but for some reason you think you know everything that you're gonna come across in said road. You telling other people how to get down the road and what to expect when you never went down that road. You have no experience in that topic, which is the Dunning-Kreuger effect, which is pride and arrogancy, which the Most High hates. Okay? So, in our positions as leaders and teachers over the nation, having a Dunning-Kreuger effect can mess you up, mess ourselves up personally, but also the people that are believing in us to be the teachers and leaders of the nation. Okay, which is no bueno, no bueno. All right. The GNT says, don't be too sure of yourself, even when the way looks easy. Okay. Like my nigga Rock Marciano said, still gotta adjust the steering wheel even when the mission is linear. Okay. Bear with me and my folly. But this is the book of Sirach, chapter 3. All right. And 17. My son, go on with thy business in meekness. so shalt thou be beloved of him that is approved. You see, because pride is hateful before God and man. Right? Nobody likes a person that's loud and wrong. You can't be loud and wrong. Okay? If you're going to be wrong, be quiet and wrong. Okay? Or low speaking and wrong. Okay? Meek and wrong. If you're going to be loud, be right. Make sure you're right. Because when you correct somebody on something and they're actually right and you're wrong, you're not going to be beloved. You're not going to be very much beloved of that person. Right? 18 says, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself. You see that? So the more you increase in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you should be more humble. Going back to the saying that if you know more, the more you know there is more to learn. Okay? Again, humility and knowledge, the realization that there's always more to learn, can foster a sense of humility and openness to new ideas and perspectives. Again, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord, and the Lord will increase you even more. You see, verse 19, many are in high place and of renown. Many people may have a title or a position, right? A position of authority or, rank, a position of esteem. A lot of times they didn't really do anything to be placed in those positions. It's nepotism, okay, who they know, what families they are a part of, okay, and chance and circumstance of their life, where they were born, who their parents are, things that were totally out of their control. And they will get proud over these things as if they put themselves in a position. You see? But mysteries are revealed unto the meek. So humble yourself, and the Lord will show you things that other people just can't see. You see? 20, for the power of the Lord is great, and he is honored of the lowly. Okay? The lowly. The more lowly you are, the more the Lord will reveal his power to you. Okay? Verse 21. Seek not out things that are too hard for thee, neither search the things that are above thy strength. And how do you do that? By accurately assessing your own abilities, your own knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, your intelligence. That's how you properly, search things that you can digest. But someone who's proud, they think that they get into all type of shit that they just know because they see someone else do it or speak on a certain thing, and they assess themselves to have the same level of intelligence as another person, or even more. So they see you talking or doing something, they like, if they can do it, I can do it. If he can speak, I must know more. That's Dunning-Kreuger effect. That's pride and arrogancy. Okay? 22. But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. So if you think upon it with reverence, that means you have to appropriately esteem or assess not only your own intelligence level, but the difficulty of something else, right? You're giving it the respect it deserves. Like you got these niggas like Charleston White, known for talking about certain socio-political issues and whatnot. And they may be right on a lot of things, but then they go start talking about the Bible, and are totally wrong. Why? Because they're not giving the scriptures its proper reverence. Okay? For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret. Right. Like Apostle Tar and the other apostles say, be one deep. Not too deep, be one deep. Drown them with the milk. We don't need to know everything. Certain things we don't need to know for salvation. We have 100% truth, meaning we know everything we need to know to make it up out of here. Verse 23, be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand. So, again, for those of us that are in this truth, certain things are not certain things are unnecessary for us to know. It's not necessary. Verse 24, and this is a key point, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion. You see that? Your own vain opinion. I mean, you didn't get this out of the scriptures. You often haven't come to this conclusion via your own thoughts, your own original thoughts. Sometimes people hold beliefs of certain topics and things, but in their mind they think it's a fact. And because they don't have much experience in that area or topic, they feel qualified or more than qualified to speak on certain issues, and they're dead wrong. Okay? So again, talk what you know. I do that to the best of my ability. Talk what I know. If I don't have much experience in a certain topic, or I may have heard someone else speak on it, or seen someone else do it, I may say a little bit about it. But if I don't have experience in it, I'm not going into that. I'm not speaking on that. If I'm talking about something dealing with nutrition, whether it's food, what to eat, what not to eat, certain things, it's because I tried it and I saw the results. Certain lifestyle things, where they come with brightness on a electric device with screens or whatnot. Talk about the detrimental effects of certain things because I've experienced, I've tried it. If I'm talking about women, how to deal with a woman and the nature of the female mind, it's because I have experience with that. Okay? If I'm talking about certain dynamics between certain people, it's because I have experience in that. And if I don't have any experience on it, I'm not going to speak on it, period. Okay, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. You see that? Overthrown their judgment. Which again goes back to the Dunning-Kreuger effect. Consequences of the Dunning-Kreuger effect: poor decision making. Meaning your judgment is what? Overthrown. You see that? So this is purely out of the scriptures. This is straight out of the scriptures. The scriptures give us knowledge on all aspects of life, especially with the human psyche and psychology and how people think, which, is something I'm interested in. A lot of brothers are interested in this type of stuff because you really have to be as a judge. You have to understand how the mind works, how people think. King Solomon did. He spoke about the reasonings of men in Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. Okay, how men and women think, different people's perspectives on different things, and people from all walks of life. Right, the Apostle Paul said, I've become all things for all men. How did he do that? Because he has experience with all men, all types of men. Okay, And this is the key point. 25. Sirach 3 and 25. Without eyes thou shalt want light. Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. You see that? Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not. So talk what you know. All right, I want to read that in one of another translations. Is that Sirach 3? Sirach 3. Oh, they took it out. Maybe it's not written in that translation. Salakia. I guess every translation doesn't have every verse. Alright, this is the Good News Translation, Sirach 3 and 24. Speculation has led many astray, and false conjectures have weakened their thoughts. So there you go. But that's pretty much it. Okay. Yep, goes into arrogancy. But that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it, okay? That's all I really wanted to say in this lesson. Don't be a Dunning-Kreuger. Talk what you know. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And until the next one, shalom.